Hi, we're calling from television BBTV. Do you have a moment to speak to us?
Sure do. Oh, it's a moment for you, Barbara.
Thank you. As your host, I'm capturing today the voices of Brooklyn and the residents and the people of Brooklyn. And for our listeners and our viewers, visit our website at television BBTV and leave us a comment. For our live call, I wanted to ask a few questions. And recently, there has been many serious events here in Brooklyn and throughout the United States and even throughout the world. I'm speaking, of course, of COVID-19, coronavirus, and the issues of police brutality towards people of color, and most recently in the murder of an unarmed, handcuffed African American man, George Floyd, by the police officer in Minnesota. Um, I want to ask you, can you tell me some of your thoughts on these issues and how it has affected you?
Well, my thoughts on these issues, I'm kind of surprised, but I'm very proud. I'm surprised as I consider myself to be an old lady. I remember so many times when the police went into, I remember Eleanor Bumpers. Who knows Eleanor Bumpers? This is a woman, a black woman, at home in her apartment. The police came. I think they were trying to evict her from her apartment in the projects. Really, you're going to evict somebody from the projects?
Wow.
Just figure out the money. Figure out the money. What's going on here? She was an older woman, and they said she had a knife in her hand. So that's the thing. So she had a knife in her hand. You got to blow her fingers off. They shot her, and they shot the fingers off her hand. They were that scared of the old lady.
Wow.
At home. And so this continues. You think of other things like the gentleman in Texas, and Botham Jean. I call him a gentleman because he literally was a gentleman by all accounts. He was active in his church, and he was an accountant of all things. He was just a really quiet, gentle man, and the police were not called to his home. However, it was a police officer who broke into his home and shot him. And then we have Breonna Taylor. Right? What happened there? She was home in bed, minding her business, and the police, they said that they don't have, they said they went to the wrong house. But where's the video from that? The most recent gentleman who died, there's a 9-minute video that we've all watched too many times. But that's because it was outside in broad daylight. We know that there should be video of what happened with Breonna Taylor because every police officer is supposed to have a video cam, right? And all the cams are supposed to be on. So how come we don't have that video? So I'm proud to see people standing up and people saying, you know what, let's burn it all down. And it sounds really weird, but when you think about how do you get change, you got to light things up. How did America become America? It was lit up. They, lit it up from the British for a long time. And then the British finally said, all right, y'all, do you. And they walked away. But it wasn't polite. How did the Haitians get free out of Haiti? They lit up the French. It wasn't polite. And then the French left. And then the regular Haitian, the local French people in France had to kill the rich. Had to eat the rich before the rich said, you know what, we can't behave like this anymore. We're going to have to do something different. The people aren't going to stand for it. And so now it's a time where people are just saying, hey, look, we just don't want to be killed at home. We just don't want to be killed for walking while black. And the whole rest of the world is saying, you know what, that kind of is a thing. That is very shameful. You shouldn't be shooting people just for walking down the street being black. That's really kind of bad. Cut it out. And so that's, how's it impacted me? So far, everything's all right. I've been fortunate. COVID, a few family members got it, but got over it. I haven't had any immediate family deaths, so that's good. It's impacted me as, we're all in the house all the time now. So, and we've gotten used to each other and, gotten to spend a bit more time with each other and really gotten to take a break and be around each other a bit more. So, COVID hasn't been as bad for me. I won't complain about COVID because I have not really suffered with COVID. But the with the protesting right now, I can't really. I did get an alarm. Did you get an alarm on your phone?
Yes.
That says, that reminds you of the curfew now.
Yeah, I just
I thought that's kind of an interesting thing, and I have heard heavy helicopters flying overhead today, which I normally didn't hear. I do remember after 9/11, I lived in Brooklyn right after 9/11, and the fighter jets flying overhead, that was a thing, and that was shocking because those things are loud, they rumble, they shake a building, and they were flying down low. I don't know how that protects you, but I do recall that happening. And the same with this. I don't know how it protects. I get that they want to protect property, but all they really had to do was arrest the 4 officers. That's all they had to do, and then give them such a high bail that they couldn't make it. That's all they had to do, and this wouldn't have happened. But after years of all of this, and really, this autopsy report, well, he died, he had underlying conditions. Well, if I have cancer and get shot tomorrow, I still had cancer. Cancer didn't kill me, the bullet did. So it's like, why do they add insult to injury? Pour salt on the wound, and then, then get mad when people scream. It's like you're pouring salt on my wound. It's like, well, stop screaming. So, hopefully it'll work out. If people bring up Martin Luther King and they say, oh, but what would Dr. King think? It was like, tell me how that story ended again. I don't remember. How did that end for him? Oh, wait, he was shot by white people? Okay. So, if that's going to be the end either way, you kind of want to feel like you've done something to participate. So one of the things I won't be caught out doing is telling people to stop when they know something has to be done and there's really no other thing to do.
Well, we're capturing the voices of Brooklyn and the people and the residents that live in it. And right now, I'm going to ask you also my second question. How do you think the government and society should respond to these incidents?
To the shooting incidents or to the protesting?
There are so many things going on right now, but the reason why this is all happening is because there was George Floyd, and at this time, how should society and government respond to these incidents of
government
killing?
Could have responded. I mean, there's so many things. I'll start with COVID because I think people reacted one way because we'd been in the house for so long with COVID.
Right.
And I think if government had responded differently and said, hey, look, don't worry about your rent, don't worry about your bills, don't worry about your food, we're going to make sure all of that, we're going to take care of you, get yourself into the doctor. Instead of all of this, you don't have symptoms, you don't get treated, instead of all of that pushing in the beginning. And if people hadn't been dying, particularly in Brooklyn, at home, en masse, the way people in Brooklyn died at home. And if we hadn't seen some people strolling around and having weddings and funerals and doing whatever they want to do, maskless and being out and about, and then other people not even able to get a test, we would have been, when this all happened, we might have been in a different frame of mind. But government could have responded better. And even, people who say they want less government, most of those people cash their check. So then there's now we have this shooting. So now we have this death, this murder on camera. Again, they could have just arrested the 4 officers, the guy with the knee on the neck and the other 3 for watching. They could have done that, and then they could have said, you know what, that's horrible. I can't believe we just saw that a week after Breonna Taylor, a week after, Ahmaud Arbery, a week after this. I can't believe we saw that. There was no need for that. Everybody's tense. These guys are going to get, even if they just said, look, we're arresting them and they're going to get retrained, we wouldn't have responded like this. Government's got to step up. You hire police to do a job. You've made it clear to us what the job is. The police are historically slave catchers, and their job is to terrorize black people. And so this is the job that they do. Change the job, change the description, and then be seen out there doing it. There's that.
Lots to do. I want to give you the last word. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, because I love Brooklyn, and I'm actually starting to enjoy being on my block. Maybe it's a little bit quiet, and maybe I can appreciate it a little bit more. I still won't do some what I call basic black people things, which is call the police on another black person. And now I'm seriously starting to rethink that. But there's also issues of, I don't know that I want to lead on that note. Everybody stay safe. That's a better note to end on.
Well,
stay safe out there, y'all.
Yes, please, everyone. And I do want to ask you a question I ask all my guests. What do you love about Brooklyn?
I love the people, for the most part. It's the people. I love the architecture, but I love the casual. I feel like the architecture lends itself to people being social. And that's what I like about Brooklyn, the social vibe. It's a very unique social vibe. You don't get it anywhere else in the world. And that's what I love about it.
Laura, thank you so much for your time. Our viewers, please visit our website and leave us your comment. You know what I like to say. Till then, stay in Brooklyn. You count, you matter, and support your community. And at this time, let's remain united and strong together. Thank you, Laura. Good night.
Good night.